My name is Joshua Joy Kishini and welcome to Ham Heritage, another wonderful edition. And with me in the house, my team members and a very important personality in Nigeria, in Ham community. We are here to meet today and to hear more about our cultural values and our cultural attire. Hi, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, can we meet you?
Yes, I'm Phillip Hayab. I'm a teacher and a language researcher. I come from the village of Wikar in Ham area of Kaduna State, Nigeria. I'm glad to have you to come to my house today for this wonderful discussion.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Can we know a little about you?
Yes, I was born by Johanna Hayab and walked to Hayab.
All right.
I came to the Ham area as a 4-year-old boy, so I learned Ham language. I lived at home with people and even went through the coup initiation when I was 10 years. So I would say to a large extent I have experienced the Ham culture from the age of 4. And my parents, even when we were born outside of our locality, they would not speak any language with us but Ham. So I've always spoken Ham as far as I can remember.
Okay.
And so yes, I would say I'm a competent speaker of the Ham language. And I'm proud of my roots because that is where God wanted me to come from, and that's where I come from, and I have no reason to be ashamed of my origin.
Oh, that's amazing. Before we go deep into what brought us here,
Yes.
can you greet us in Ham language?
So this is in the evening, we holding this, I would say, Nyuelenya,
Okay.
Kwa Kyomo, Hare, Seri, Yinas Chechere,
Oh,
Nomshiwenyi.
amazing.
You can see I didn't put a one word in Hausa because our language can actually express itself
Okay.
without the use of Hausa.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, we learned that you play a critical role in the introduction of Ham attire. What can you say about that?
Yes, by the special grace of God, I was part of the team that worked to ensure that we have 3 colors of what today we call the Ham attire. The story simply is that in 2011, I was a student in the UK, and I discovered that some of the researchers were white people, but people with expertise in African languages and cultures. So I became inquisitive and interested, and I said, okay, why not I be the one to start the study of my own language, Ham? So I began the study of the Ham language in 2011 and then scaled up the study to a higher degree in 2013. January, when I went to become a student at the Stellenbosch University in South Africa. So while I was in South Africa, we had already a platform called the Ham Community on Facebook, and we were interacting, and people would ask questions about the Ham culture, and I will answer. And we discovered that we didn't have any insignia to show ourselves as a people with a distinct culture, even though we are the people who come from where the celebrated Nok culture was excavated from. So sometimes in 2015, a drama happened, and the drama became a blessing in disguise. A certain boy by the name Venom was a student at the Panaf Primary and Secondary School in Bana, Kaduna, and there was a cultural day celebration.
Oh.
His mother wanted him to have something cultural, but there was none as far as the modern cultural attires were concerned at that time.
Yes.
So the mother thought of getting a black leather, and cut it into some beads that she formed something like what we call the mbienten. Mbienten, I'm not sure what that animal is called in English, but Binten is actually an animal that has a skin, the fur actually shakes. So our people, the Ham people, use the mbienten to tie around their waist when they dance.
Oh.
So the mother tried to mimic the mbienten using the leather, and she was able to get some what today can be like a bangle
Yeah.
like a wrist bangle, but we call it in here bajak. And bajak is something like a tambourine that you can pull round
Yeah,
the
the
leg
one
of
they add
somebody
with the
stones,
and then, yeah,
and you use it from
make sound.
yeah,
Like,
it makes sounds, and it has actually accompanies music. So she did all this and got him the tail of a cow and then a white singlet. And when he dressed to school, his friends laughed at him. And the mother was quick to actually update us with that reality on Facebook. And I said, no, we cannot continue to talk without action. So I came home to Nigeria. I started making inquiry about any person that might have designed any colors for the ham attire. And then I found a young man by the name Bobby Alex, who lives in television in Kaduna at that time. So I contacted him and I went to his house, met him, and some people even gave him the idea not to trust me because they thought I was coming to steal his idea. I said, no, I'm a researcher. If I'm finding out issues, finding out knowledge about the ham, I should also trust someone to do something.
Very
so
true.
I found Alex, and by that time Alex had 6 colors that he had identified that he wanted to use to project the ham attire. And I felt no, 6 colors were too many, and we formed a committee which was headed by Dr. Joseph Guro, and we started this issue of the ham attire, and we arrived at the 3 colors that you have.
Yeah, beautiful.
The beautiful design. Now there are 3 colors there, and we all have the conceptions of these colors in our language.
Okay.
So number 1, the green color in the ham language is simply green, which is translated as jang, namjang.
Namjang.
Yes, because the green color is the color of the leaf as far as the ham people are concerned. Now the other color is the maroon. The green
stands for agriculture.
It stands for the agricultural land of the ham.
Okay.
And talks about also the industrious nature of the ham people as farmers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another. And generally, we are not talking about whether a particular crop or what.
Yes.
People are farmers, they are hardworking, so they produce their food by themselves.
Very true.
And in fact, it is a common saying in the ham language that I am not a beggar.
Yeah.
It is a thing of pride for the ham person not to beg. It means our people were actually very hardworking, and we need to support that hardworking situation now.
Very true.
Now the other color, which is next to the green, is the maroon. Maroon is called tuos in ham, and also camwood in English. Is a very common African a color that Africans use it for certain decorative purposes in the past. But beyond that, maroon talks about the quality of being very industrious, being very receptive, being ingenious. Maroon color represents something much more. Okay. It talks about the human character that is celebrated.
Okay.
Now the ham people are very welcoming. In fact, in colonial records, I gathered that Lord Lugard visited the town of Kwang in 1909, and he described the ham people as industrious and welcoming, because for the ham, they would rather give out the food that they have to the visitor than to allow the visitor to stay hungry. That is our value system. So
from your explanation,
yes,
I gathered that the ox blood or marine color stands for
courage. Yeah.
Hospitality.
Yes, it's courage.
Yes.
Yeah, also talks about very sterling quality of leadership.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
So the ham people are gifted. We are not competing with any other ethnic group, but wherever that we found ourselves, we have proven that we have something to offer.
So we started from agriculture.
So yes, now to unity, then hospitality, then we're talking about the sterling quality of being outstanding in what we do. So now we have the is this yellow or gold? now this is where the problem comes. You see, people would want us to say gold, but we don't have a conception of gold in our language. So there is no one word in him that is gold. After all, gold is a shade of yellow. Okay. So without the yellow, gold will not exist. So the primary colors are actually what the ham people would have had in their worldview. So for instance, we have white, which is called shabu. We have red, which we call shadul. We have black, which we call sheshit. We have yellow, which we call saban.
Yeah.
Right, but we don't have gold. So that was one of the reasons that I asked the people who were conceptualizing the idea to delete the idea of the gold color and use the yellow color. And why? If you want to express a culture, you must express that culture in the language of the people and not in another person's language. So gold may be a color that we cherish, but we cannot express it in our language, so we don't have to force
if I
it.
get this straight, I think I made this mistake somewhere last year at Olusegun Obasanjo's farm at the retreat, where I wore this same attire. And then I started with the green for agriculture, the red for... I use ginger to describe this. You know, there are stages in ginger processing when it's like on the farmland and everything. Starting from the green.
Yeah, the yellow actually represents ginger and the fonio. Fonio is pure, which is... the fonio is what people call hungry rice. We farm that in large quantity. And some of the pure actually have this quality. Yeah, so we use the yellow to represent two concepts: the ginger that we farm and then the pure that we have. So that is just the reason of the yellow and not gold, because after all, if gold is a shade of yellow, why not yellow? So that we can simply explain this concept to a woman, an old woman in the village who had not been to the university, who had not gone, had an education.
So it doesn't stand for royalty as the gold stands.
Yes, you see, royalty. I've often talked to people about royalty. What do they mean by royalty? We, the Han people, were one unified people, that we actually didn't even believe in somebody being above someone. It's a class society that talks about royalty. Trying to talk about somebody being ahead of someone. For the Han people, particularly when I grew up, we were together with the chiefs. We meet them, the chief priest and the chief after the house style. They lived a normal life than like every other person. The only thing we did for them was when we met them on our way to the farm, we would get out of the road and they would pass. And that also was the kind of respect we showed elders. So when people talk about royalty, you're just trying to copy someone else's culture. I believe that the Han people should be confident in the culture that our forefathers handed over to us, and should be. We don't need to leave our culture and begin to chase after someone.
Okay, that draws my attention.
Yes.
So, sir, if this history or this great records you just gave us is really captivating and then something worth telling. But my concern here is, before the idea or the conception of these three colors, what were the major attire Han people are known with?
The major attire that the Tuk Ham or the Til Ham, the first three Ham, was clad in a maroon color attire.
Amazing.
Because our people have always had this conceptualization of the maroonic color. And it is called, I've already told you, Tsuos. Tsuos is what our people use to even identify a woman who was the chief celebrant, either when her husband dies or when there was something very spectacular that was being celebrated. So in fact, we used to call it Jirunkum. Now, so for instance, when a woman loses her husband in the past, there's a young girl who will come to be like a pseudo character for that woman, who would be inside because she can be talking to everyone. Now, this Jirunkum would be, so you bring out the camwood, which is source, which is maroon, and rub it on the face of this Jirunkum, whose hair would have been shaved, and then you rub it on her head. So once you come, you see the Jirunkum, you would, in case you don't even know what kind of occasion it is, you would know that yes, somebody had lost her husband. Particularly, the person who would have lost her husband would not be an elderly woman. So this is something very catchy for us. So the maroon color has always been with us, and we didn't want to lose track of that maroon color, because our forefathers were the ones who established this color, and we kept this color true to what we have.
We have this idea that the maroon color is for the female folks, because we always see them in musical videos or tying it on their chest to their feet, but we've never seen the men or the male dress in this color. They only come up with the blankets around their neck. I think yes, around their neck, and then a staff with a hat like this.
Yes.
So can you?
Okay, so this is it. Before now, when the Ham people maybe didn't have clothing in the way they are now,
Yes.
elderly people were the ones who dressed. But the chief priest of the Ham would dress using or wearing the skin of the leopard.
Oh, okay.
Because the leopard is the totemic animal of the Ham. Then others who were hunters, who also had the means, may have other skins, but you can't put on that of the leopard. So our people put on the skin across their shoulder to cover their nakedness, and then subsequently,
All right.
the Bante Hausa, the Hausa Bante came,
Yes.
and people added it to it. But the chief priest will always wear the skin of the leopard.
Okay.
So now that we no longer have the skin of the leopard in common, then also we're not wearing animals' hides. People have chosen to wearing any other thing that was accessible. And the other thing is they mostly try to use the old blanket, the bargo, because it was what was common that we came to meet our elders still using.
Yeah.
But as we are a dynamic society, so we are not static, we are moving with time. And now you can see some of us having the Ham attire.
Yes.
I actually have the Ham attire. The problem, or I had the Ham attire, I should say. I bought it like more than 6 times. Every time I buy it, someone is traveling abroad and wants it now, and I give out mine. So for some now, I've gone on recess, but I'm going to have to buy mine because it's something that we have to celebrate. Maybe what we should even propose is that Ham men can just have a maronic top, sew it, and then maybe 1 or 2 stripes of the yellow and the green.
Yes.
And that becomes a Ham attire. We have to copy others who have gone ahead of us. People, ethnic groups like the Tiv, ethnic groups like the Igala, ethnic groups like the Idoma, other ethnic groups that have met movement. We need to have something to express ourselves. Something that once you see somebody in the street, you will know this is Ham. If you remember when I came out of where you came to meet me, the moment I met you, even if I didn't know your faces, your attire already tells me that these are my people.
Yes,
so we need this to be like the Ham national or cultural flag. And we need to celebrate it.
So sir, if I may get you straight, so the marine color is really the Ham color.
It's been the Ham color for maybe for as long as the Ham people have lived.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now from this, so does that mean that these 3 colors now introduces the male folks into wearing the full attire?
When we conceptualize this idea, we conceptualize this actually for 2 sets of people. The first set of people were young people in primary and secondary schools, so that on cultural day they will have something to put on.
Oh, all right.
The other set of people we thought about were the ladies, so that they wouldn't have to put on clothes like the Edo people when they have their traditional marriages. We felt that we were being insulted.
Yes.
We know that the Edo culture is very beautiful, but we also have something that we can use to express our own uniqueness. And we had this conceptualization. So the moment the Ham attire was ready, 2 sets of people tested it. Number 1, the children in primary schools. Number 2, a young lady, Ham lady, was going to marry and she dressed like a Ham damsel. And then I, Phillip, I also tested the Ham attire. And I discovered that everybody can use it.
To our viewers, to our young pretty damsels in Ham community, this attire is suitable for every bride. So it's an encouragement for every young lady to wear this on her traditional marriage day. That is the day they are coming to pay your bridal rights. I think that's true. Your bride price, you have to be on this attire because that really signifies where you are coming from. So in case if you are traveling to somewhere else, they will know you have an identity.
I remembered one of the school speech and prize giving days at my daughter's school when she was in primary school. I still have the photo. Well, everybody had come out in their own attire. She came out, and I could see how proud she was.
Very true.
When a child on a day of cultural day goes to the school and dresses like a Hausa, it robs us of our identity.
Very true.
Or dresses like a Fulani, it robs us of our identity. We know that the Hausa have the cultural way of expressing themselves. The Fulbe people have every ethnic group should have a way of expressing itself, and we have a way of expressing ourselves. And I encourage that we should do that. And I've challenged many Ham parents that I saw who can afford this dress and do not get it for their children and dress them in other ethnic groups' cultural attires, that they were doing their children a disservice and not helping them to understand who they are, where they come from, and indeed where they are going to. It is important we pay attention to this and we promote it, because that's the way people will understand us, recognize us, and respect us.
Very true. Thank you very much, sir, for this contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time and for watching. It's been a wonderful time with our guests. And then about ham attire, please, I encourage every young pretty lady out there to get this ham attire. We have it in wrappers. If you can't afford the ashoke, you can afford the wrapper. Please, let's keep our culture going and let's be proud of where we are coming from and where we are heading to. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for our next edition. I'm by name Joy Joshua Kishimi. Bye.